Somebody asked me, what in fact do you do? And I realized I spent most of my time on the phone, and in order to make people think I was professional, I had to figure out what it was I did. So what I realized was that I sat there and I listened.
Check, check, check. Y'all got me? Is the audio playing? Y'all can hear that? Is the volume good? It's the first time we got some little background audio going. So I'm trying to see if it works. It should still be playing. How is like my volume and the music volume good? Love it, love it, love it. All right, on the music, I got some instrumentals from Homage. He's a friend that I went to high school with, and he's a DJ now, makes beats. So I'm gonna somehow try to link his YouTube channel and everything like that. He's a good dude, and he makes some nice beats. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. But today, what we're gonna talk about is we're kind of gonna go over the basics of game planning and kind of what you look for, and when you find something with tendencies with the offense, when you find something, how to exploit it. So we're gonna talk about a little bit of how we watch film to get an understanding of a opponent, and then we're also gonna talk about kind of what I give to my players. I just call them alerts and situations, and then we're gonna go over kind of like what an install would be, and then we can go over kind of how we talk about the opponent to the players and stuff like that. So first, well, let me backtrack. My name is Jaron Horton. I was the defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Maulers. I've been a college coordinator, worked in the SEC, worked in the NFL, all on defense. So I have a pretty good understanding of defensive football and in turn offensive football. So that's a little bit about me. So when I'm watching film and I'm looking at and scouting an opponent, I have I guess a routine that I go through on how I watch film. Um, just trying to get inside the head of the offensive play caller and trying to figure out, what does he think? How does he think? What is he going to call in this situation? So how I break it up for me personally is the first thing I'm going to watch is I'm going to watch what we call base downs, which is first and second down, taking out the like 2-minute drives and 4-minute late in game, like taking out all of the situations. And then I watch that from the minus 10-yard line to the plus 21. So that's like your normal field. That's what I watch first. So all the base downs, first and second down, from the minus 10 to the plus 21. And then I sort that by most frequent formation. And then by run pass, and then by, like, sometimes I'll do it by backfield set, sometimes I'll do it by variation, like if there's a variation between the tight end on the ball and the tight end off the ball. Sometimes I'll try to look at that, see if I can get a tell, like, okay, every time the Y is off, they're gonna run the ball. Every time the Y is on, they're gonna throw the ball. Typically it's not as simple as that, but a concept like that. That's kind of how I try to figure out, okay, in trips, in 3x1, they're more pass. In 2x2, they're more run. And then we also back that up with, like, the film reports and just the hard numbers. But sometimes by doing that, by watching all of the formations in a row, all of the 3x1s, all of the 2x2s, okay, every time why is this receiver number 2, he's on the hash, and they're running this every time, and every other time he's 2 yards outside of the hash. So you can kind of start to pick up tendencies like that when you watch by formation and by top plays. So that's what I do first. I try to get the meat and potatoes of it, because that's really what an offense is. That's who they are on base downs, just normal in-game whatever. That's who they are. So that's the very first thing that I'm trying to see. And then I break it down into third down, and I watch from short to long. So I watch 3rd and 1, and 3rd and 2 to 3 is another segment. 3rd and 4 to 6 is another segment. 7 to 10 is another segment, and 11 plus. That's initially how I watch it, and then sometimes I'll watch 3rd and 1 to 2 by itself to see if that's how the offensive coordinator thinks, and he's like 2 and 1 are the same, because some coordinators do think that, but some coordinators are like, nope, 3rd and 1 is its own thing, because a lot of guys will run the ball on 3rd and 1, and 3rd and 2 they'll throw the ball. So I kind of look at that. Same thing by formation, by variation, by play, and all that. Then after I do 3rd down, I have a good idea of 3rd down. Then I go to the red zone. And really I start in what I call the maroon zone, which is the 30 to the 20. Sometimes I'll go 35 to 20 if I think I can get a little bit more. And then I'll do red zone, and I'll watch it 20 and in, to see kind of what they do. And then I'll watch 3rd down red zones and stuff like that. And then I'll go and I'll look back at, like, backed up, which is like the -1 to the +9, or the plus, or not, I'm sorry, not plus, the -1 to the -9, like backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, if you will. I'll watch what I call the alumni zone, or the shot zone, which is 40 to 40. Where the best seats in the house look directly down on the field, and they want to make the alumni proud by taking shots and doing trick plays and stuff like that. So that's basically how I watch film, and how I break it down for me. That's just what works in my brain. So what we'll look at now is right here. All right, this is what I would present to the players, what I would present to my players during a game plan week. So what we're going to look at today is our week 3 game from the Philadelphia Stars. All right, they were a big spread team. In 2023, they were all 10 personnel. Maybe, yeah, I think so. We'll get to that in a little bit too. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. The meat and potatoes of it, who they are. This is your base down in the field stuff. First and second down in the field. They were heavy pass first, as you can see. 79%. So really 4 out of every 5 plays of your normal plays, first and second down in the field, they're going to throw the ball, which is a lot. And it wasn't RPOs, it was like true throws. And they just, what do they want to do? They want to get their athletes in space. And they didn't have a whole bunch of different run game things. It was stretch right, stretch left. And then they were a big screen team, and they a vertical stretch with unders for a check down. So like they ran 2, like if they went empty, 4 guys vertical and a guy coming underneath to be the check down. 3-by-1 verticals and someone underneath, either back coming out, the backside receiver, something like that. But that's kind of who they are. Big picture, if I had to describe who is this team, that's how I would do it. I'd say they're a pass first team. They want to get their athletes in space, not too much runs. They like screens, and they like to stretch the field vertically with also having a check down. All right, so that's your base down stuff. And then we go into our third down stuff, right? Third and 1, they will run or they will pass. So they had a little bit higher run tendencies in those down and distances than they do on base downs. But it wasn't 100% run. It wasn't 100% pass. So you could get whatever. Just be prepared for whatever. In this third and short, the back got to the flat a lot. He was always getting out to the flat to be that check down to try to get the first down. Same distance, alert the routes at the sticks, and quick throws. Right? They don't want to press the field vertical when it's only 4 or 5 yards to get a first down. They just want to get the first down, keep the drive moving. So then we get to a little bit the medium, 3rd and 7 to 10, medium to long. They like triple seam, which is 3-by-1 vertical, with somebody shallow. So like we said, it was usually three guys on one side of the field going vertical, and then the other guy coming across the field coming underneath. And we'll see that when we get to the film. And when they went 2-by-2, they went touchdown, check down, which for us is just all verticals. 3rd and 10 plus, vertical stretch with someone sitting down at the sticks. So just verticals and a guy obviously sitting down at the first yard marker. And a lot of 5-wide stuff and empty formations in that. But so now, this is what on Monday or Tuesday, whatever the first day is that we're meeting with the players, this is what I'm standing up presenting to the players, saying, who is this team, whatever. This is the very first thing that they see. Then we get to the red zone. In the high red zone, like your 25 to 15, 13, they're still running their regular offense. Like they just did what they did. A little bit more screens, a little more draws and runs, as they assume that defense will pressure because you're getting down into the red zone, and that's just what people do. Quicker throws down here. China concepts, which is a guy sitting down in the flat, and then the guy vertical, often a 7 cut behind him, or an 8, a post. Usually it's the number 1, the outside receiver sitting down, and the inside receiver, number 2, is running the vertical. And then they did a lot of mesh stuff as well. The maroon zone, which is around the 35 to the 25, they did a lot of shots, and they still ran their offense. This stuff never changed, the shots and the tricks. Like we said, the alumni zone, 40 to 40. Red zone, you'll get a lot of those trick plays, just you do. Sudden change, obviously, is a big trick and shot formation or shot situation, and usually funky formations. Like if it's a formation that we haven't seen on tape, like antennas should go up, like something's weird with that. And then down here, just the notes are just extra stuff that I want to talk about. And for them, they would do the same things out of 11, out of 10, and 00. So when they had a tight end and one back, whether they had one tight end and no backs or no tight ends and no backs, they were running the same concepts. It was just formation based. It wasn't personnel based. And then this down here, this is big for just football. Formation notes. In 2023, this was only a 2 game in 2023 before we had played them because it was week 3. But they had not had a tight end in the core once. It was always split formations, like four. It looked like four receivers on the field always. Sometimes it was a tight end, but it was always 10 personnel looking sets. And then you can see here, when it was doubles 2x2, it was a high percentage pass, but they still ran the ball the most out of anything else. So that was 68% pass. But when they got to trio 3x1, it was heavy pass, and then empty obviously was heavy pass too. But when they got into pistol down here, it was almost 50-50 run pass. So when you look at pistol, the backfield set, like the back directly behind the quarterback, as opposed to anything in the gun, that's a big thing, because there, as we look up here on base downs, they're only 20% run out of any set, but then you get pistol is 50%. Like that's a big thing. Like that's a big number of that, obviously. So for me, I have this sheet in front of me when I'm calling plays in the box, because I can look down and be like, okay, 3rd and 3 to 6, alert the back to the flat. So I can be talking to the guys and talking to the linebackers and safeties, hey, alert that back to the flat, because I see that it's 3rd and 5. So this is what I use in the box to kind of keep me fresh on who that other team is. And that's why I use the colors and stuff like that. And it's organized like this because it works in my brain. And I don't know if other people do this. This is just what I did because it works for me. And find whatever works for you. But this was really nice for me to have up in the box and just be, like I said, look down. Okay, we're in the red zone, screens, draws, and runs. And I can just alert those guys through the headset, hey, think screens, draws, runs down the red zone. Because obviously they don't have this in front of them when they're playing the game. I have to do that and get that information to them. So that's that. And then down here it says, when in doubt, blitz their ass. Because that's just what we do on defense. All right, so that is the first thing we talk about. And then this is just my call sheet. It was a really small menu. And then we have some new calls in there. I think later I colored the new ones differently, but we'll talk about the new calls. So then these were this is all the old stuff that we had installed, whatever, in camp. But now this is the new stuff. All right. Yeah, facts. Putting them to use in 2025. That's for sure. We put in a few new defenses for this game because, like we said, they were a pass-first spread offense. So we put in a new front flex, which just puts our ends outside the tackles. And this call was flex backer saw 1. So it's just a 5-man cover 1. It's pretty simple. The flex is just the front. Backer saw is the pattern. All right, so there was one call that we installed. This was another one that we installed, Rover Star 1 Peel. So this got us into another different looking front. Flex got us into this kind of like 3-3 look, but we put the backer and the will at the heels of the guards, or the heels of the defensive line. And then Rover got it like a true 3-3 look where it was 3 down linemen, 3 stacked backers. This was a pressure 1 peel where if the running back goes out your side, you're responsible for him. If he steps up to block you, you have to take that running back and drive him back to the quarterback. Everybody in the rush is responsible for the quarterback, for the running back. So this was Rover Star 1 Peel. This was a new call for us. Shade Gaps 1 Peel, just another 1 pressure, peel pressure. And then this was a check for us to a certain formation. We would automatically check to this cover 3 when we got 4x1. This was just a formation check. And then this was a new call. I don't think we actually ended up running this in the game, but this is just a different coverage. It's called 52 wild. It's trap 2, but you're carrying verticals is kind of the best way that I can describe it. And then zone the set. We were playing cover. We were playing. So we did end up running it. We were playing wild to the 2x2, and we were playing cover 3 to 3x1. it was a formation check. So we always knew, we always could be in the right thing, basically. Because based on the routes, this was why we put this in. Based on what we were getting from them, we figured if it was 2x2, we'd want to be in this coverage, and if it was 3x1, we'd want to be in this coverage. And we were like, well, can we do that? Can we just combine the calls, like double call it? And we were able to put that in and do it. So that's what we did. All right. So now this is really almost how fast I would install in meetings. Like, it goes quick. Like, I'm not going to sit there and like hold the guy's hands through this stuff, because we uploaded it. They should have been able to look at it before, so this shouldn't be the first time that they're looking at it, I hope. And if it is, well, you better learn fast. But this is the formation notes. So like, it's the same stuff that we went over earlier. It's just a kind of different way to look at it. Based on formation, this is the last 3 games. So this was 2 games in 2023 and then 1 game in 2022. And then, oh no, I'm sorry. This was 2 games in 2022 and week 1 in 23. And then this was the most recent game, week 2 versus Michigan. This was the breakdown from that. And then so we have pictures. This is what our doubles formation looks like, 2x2 open, and all the numbers. So then you get to the backfield sets like we were talking about earlier when we were watching film. Gun far. So every time that the running back was away from the tight end, it was a pass, which is huge. Anytime that the running back lines up on the other side of the tight end, it's a pass. That's a really good formational tell. And then if it was back at home, like if it was pistol, 8 out of 9 times they ran the ball. So like, those are very huge cues that you can just see. And like, I'm telling the players this, but at the same time, I need to know this. So like, in games, when it's pistol, I can say, hey, heavy run. And if it's gun far, because they can't necessarily see that and take all that information in, as well as knowing what they're supposed to do. But if they hear gun far alert pass, or just alert pass, they don't need to necessarily know why it's an alert pass. They just hear me saying, hey, alert pass, because I know I have this information in front of me and I can tell them. But that's neither here nor there. The top run concepts, like we said, it was stretch right, stretch left for the most part, and a little bit of inside zone. Mesh, opposite high low, and then screens were the top concepts there. Speed trips, 3 receivers to the same side. Here you can see it was more balanced in this. It was pretty 50-50 run pass. Gun far was more pass, but it wasn't. Ooh, that should be blue. It was more pass, but not much more pass. It was only 2 plays. Trio. So here you can see more pass. Not a big sample size in this one. And then they're 10 personnel. So all that was 11 personnel. Now when it's 10 personnel, doubles gun near when the back is to the field. It was run. Double stack, like condensed, was pretty balanced, you can see. Trio, 3x1 open, not that much of a sample size, but it was more pass. And then this is red zone stuff. Just pass first. I'm trying to see what it says here. Go-to guys, they had number 12, Chris Rowland. I think he played for DC last year. I think that was him. He's a good player. He's like I don't know. He's like he's like built pretty, like he's built well, but he's not super tall. He's like a slot receiver, can play running back a little bit type guy, mismatch. They gave him a lot of touches. When he moves or shifts, he was a target, so that's in there. He didn't play last week, but they used Corey Coleman, who's a similar type of guy, in that role. So this is just kind of notes that we go over and whatnot. Then your third down stuff, and we already kind of talked about it. Empty, this is their targets. So 25 out of 68 snaps, they targeted 2 weak. 17 times they targeted 3 strong. So what that's saying is they're getting into empty, but they're working on the inside 2 receivers. 3 strong, 2 weak. That's where the ball is going. Out of 68 snaps, only 6 times did it go to the outside receivers, which is not like that's very, very small. So they're not just sitting there throwing fades. They're not sitting there throwing hitches outside. They want to spread you out to work the middle of the field. They want to get those receivers 2 weak and 3 strong on linebackers. That's what they're trying to do. So they're spreading it out to throw the ball inside. And this is good to know. Like, it's really good to know that they're that's what their game plan is. So the linebackers are knowing they're probably going to throw the ball. Like, I'm going to get attacked, which is really good to know. All right, let's see. Let me zoom out. That's pretty much everything there. That's like what we install. So let me pull up the film real quick. Well, before that, does anyone have any questions with what we talked about there? Install, how we watch film, what we're looking for, and stuff like that. That's a quick 20-minute whatever. I mean, that's, and Zay's in here, like he'll tell you that's pretty much how fast those original installs went. Like, they're not long. We had like I don't know, maybe an hour and 20-minute meeting, and maybe we talk about this for 20 to 30 minutes, and then we start watching film. Or if guys have questions, we answer questions about installs. But it's not a whole bunch of sitting up there just talking about stuff. All right, let me pull up the film. All right, so now this is play 1 of this Philly game, right? We're saying this was week 3. Cool, here we go. All right, and let me pull this over real quick. Ooh, hold on. All right, here we go. All right, so we already talked about all of the install and the tendencies and that. So here we're getting trio, and trio for us was more pass. And what we also said is in 2023, they had never, this is a tight end right here, they had never had this guy in the core. So like he had never lined up right here or right here up to this point, which is just 2 games, but he hadn't done that yet. So now they give us something new, right? They give us a new look to where they start that guy out, but at the snap of the ball, it's just like he's a Y off. He's in the core now. So this is a new look. We hadn't seen this yet on tape. And what do? They try to run split zone. They try to run the ball. So they're trying to start him out, get him in to the core, and then run the ball. And here we're playing zone the set, which 3x1, we're playing a form of cover 3. He's our hook curl. Zay is our curl flat. He's our curl flat, hook curl right here. And we're playing cover 3, 4 under 3 deep. All right. We motion, and we hadn't talked about this, I don't think. We ended up getting to, I think we just still played cover 3, and he rolled down to play curl flat, and he played middle third, and these guys still played cover 3. But that was a new wrinkle. They hadn't showed us that before, so we had to adjust to it. Yeah, we locked the call in motion. Yeah, that's Xavier commenting right now is right here. So here we're playing Rover. He's our 4th line, like rusher, and these are Tez and Ruben, our like stack backers. He would typically line out here and rush, but this is just a different call because they throw the ball more. And basically gap wise, he's here, A to A, here, and B, in A. That's how we're gapped out here. Boogie does a really nice job right here of striking, extending, having vision to see what's going on, and now playing the backside A gap to get in front side, shedding, and making the tackle. That's a really nice rep from Boogie right there. All right, so they gave us a new look on play one. They gave us a completely new look. All right, so now we get empty. And from our empty study that we just saw, there's a very high likelihood that it's going to this guy or this guy. All right, I don't know that. I don't know what they're going to do, but based on our study, those are the two guys that get targeted a high percentage of the time. We called the same call, zone the set. Come on now, JJ. All right, so here we're playing zone the set, which empty for us was cover 3. So he's got deep third. He's got deep third. And what we talked about the other day is we don't run much China. So he's basically locked here on a vertical. If he goes vertical, he's locked. And then the middle field safety is responsible for 3. It's like 3 match, if you will. But we're running spy. And I believe we told this guy, look strong to weak. So when he's the spy, he's not spying the quarterback because he wasn't like a mobile guy. Like he can run, don't get me wrong, because he went for like 80 against somebody in 2022. But he's not like a scrambler. He's going to try to throw the ball. So our spy, Malcolm, he was looking strong first for someone coming underneath. And then if they were all vertical, then they ran a route where he went underneath. So he went strong to look back weak. And he was just trying to get in the window, knock that guy off. All right, yeah, that's what this game is. This game is chess on grass, basketball on grass, however you want to call it. All right, but here we go. 2 weak. First one targeted. 3 on the flat. All right, 2 weak. Catch the ball, make the tackle. All right, they're going to catch the ball, like we said. We're playing inside leverage. They run a 3-yard out. They're going to catch that. If we want to stop that, we'll call Tampa. We'll put a cloud corner out there. All right, I'm not mad about that. Make the tackle. So we know from our film study we're looking three strong, 2 weak. That's who we're looking at. I mean, everyone's got to do their job and cover, but those are the guys that we're probably looking at. This is a nice speed to power from Nas right there on the right. And we know that they like quick throws. They like to stretch the field vertically, but they like quick throws. So that's why we're doing a lot more drop coverage. And we're mixing that in with pressure just so they're not going to be able to peg us into one thing. But we like this drop coverage stuff against this team particularly. I think 7 wasn't Roland. 7 was, I can't remember. Roland was 12, but 7 was a really good player too. 7 and 12. I think they ended up both getting hurt this year, but they're really good players. All right, so here we're looking at 1st and 10 trio, which was more pass, but it's a little different here. They end up running the ball. All right, this is like a true draw. I don't know if they had showed this at all during the year. A lot of teams will do their first 15 plays, they'll script it, and that'll be something different because they want to see how someone's going to react to something or what. They want to get these plays that they have scripted and see, okay, we're going to go empty to see if they're going to have an empty check. We're going to get a 2x2 formation to see what they call to that. 3x1 to see what they call to that, if they have formation checks or whatnot. So they do that so they can get the information to later in the game come back to that, like, ooh, okay, they had this empty check where they're going to pressure 0. Great. We can put a favorable matchup at 3. We can put our best receiver for them, Corey Coleman. We can put him at 3 strong and have him matched up on a safety and have him have an option route or something like that. But that's why they script their first 15 plays typically. All right, so here, like we said, it's a draw. Our linebackers do a pretty good job of recognizing that and getting downhill once they recognize that. And this is a run for the ball is on the 36. I think this ends up being a 1 yard gain. Maybe not even half a yard. So that's obviously a win for us on defense. But here we went shade. We went 4 down. Give them a little bit of a different look. We had done our 3 down front the first couple plays of the game. And now we're going to give them a different look. Give them a 4 down look. All right, Olive gets double teamed here. Ruben and Tez clearly are reading pass first, because right now that is a pass. If you're reading your keys, you're reading your guards, everyone's pass setting. It's a draw. It's going to look like pass. And then this is a great reaction from both 31 and 10, our 2 inside backers, and even Bryce right here too. This is a really good reaction from Bryce, getting in on the run. But Ruben does an excellent job right here of slipping underneath that guard trying to block him and making the play. If you're teaching linebackers and you have, obviously Ruben he's a little different because he was voted the best college football player, or the best defensive player in college football his last year in college. But you don't have to engage blocks. If you can slip a block, especially now with linebackers that are so athletic and fast, if you can defeat a block by shoulder, like by a little juke move or a dip, or even just beating with speed, you don't have to engage and get swallowed up by the guard or the tackle. Like, why hit the guy if you don't have to? Like Ruben here, could he engage right there? Yeah, he could engage, and he could try to extend and stay in his B gap, or he can just give him a little foot fake and dip underneath him and make the play. Like, use your athleticism. All right, we came back with our zone the set. So here we know that we're playing cover 3. They come out and empty. He's our weak curl flat, strong curl flat. Tez needs to bump out a little bit, which I'm sure he will. And Bryce is in the middle of the field. Yeah, Tez should bump out even more. Ruben should bump a little bit this way. Ruben should really be like probably on the inside of this hash, and Tez should really be like on the outside of this hash, because we know that they're not like a QB run team. So Tez can work a little bit more to his coverage, and he can push a little bit this way. And really Tarp can move in a little bit. Ruben should really push this way on the snap, because that's his 3. But here they're just running quick game, sticks. All right, empty 1 week. We didn't see that a lot, remember? We talked about empty. It was always, well, not always. It was a high percentage 3 week, 3 strong and 2 weak. Here they throw it to 1 week. But also, this was their best player. I think he won Offensive Player of the Year, I want to say. I think he did. I think he did that year. He was definitely all-pro. So they were trying to get him the ball early. That's the other thing you'll see with offensive coordinators. On their first 15 plays, they're going to find a way to get their best player the ball early in the game, to get him touches so that he stays in the game. Like, if I'm the Minnesota Vikings and I have Justin Jefferson, I'm going to get him the ball at least 3 to 4 times the first 15 plays of the game. Like, I don't care if I have to run a screen pass, if I have to, I'm going to manufacture touches for him. I'm not going to look up in the second quarter and see Justin Jefferson on the sideline upset because he has 1 target. Like, I want to get my star players the ball early. So that's another thing that you got to look out for in those first 15 plays. They want to get their guys out of their guys, get those guys the ball early. Let them make plays and let them settle into the game. All right, so here, that's a good tackle from our corner. I mean, shoot, if they're going to run hitches, like I said, we'll call something different. They're going to catch the ball. They're going to make plays. They caught the ball. We had guys rallying to the football. I'm not mad. All right, let's play next snap. And this, like we said, it's so fast. Even if we pressured, we probably wouldn't get home. So we don't want to pressure a whole bunch because we know that they're a quick passing game. So we only rush 3, and I'm not really expecting these guys to get home. If something happens, it's a longer developing route. Yeah, someone's gonna win their one-on-one because they have 5, we have 3. They can't double everybody. If you're one-on-one, you got to win. Obviously, eventually, not on quick game. You're not gonna win that quick all the time. All right, we're looking at empty. We call the zone the set again. Same thing, we're playing cover 3. 3 strong, 2 weak. That's the main guys that are getting the ball. In empty, here, that's what they do. This is Roland, number 12, like we said. I think that was him, right? Yeah. Roland's 12-7, I think is Devin Gray, something Gray. I don't know if I'm saying his name wrong. But 12 is Roland. He's a good slot receiver. Very good. And that's what they're doing here. We're playing zone. So this is a linebacker and this is a linebacker. That's a favorable matchup for them. They get their receiver on linebackers. Okay? Like, that's a good matchup for them. We'll have to change up the call and call man or do something else if they're going to kill us with that all day. And that's just going to kind of happen. Like I said, Ruben should push a little bit this way because that's his 3, and we're playing cover 3. So he can push that way a little bit and be a little bit cleaner with his footwork. He might get there and make the play. He probably does if his footwork is a little bit cleaner. But, I mean, that's football. That happens. They beefing. All right, so we haven't pressured yet. We've only called like 1 call so far. We've called zone the set this whole drive. Now we pressure, all right? Because I was probably like, okay, now I think they might take a shot, like we said, because this is the maroon zone. All right, the ball's on the 25-yard line, so we're thinking they might take a shot. So I'm like, okay, we can pressure, but I also need my corners to know that, shoot, they might take a shot, which they do, and Mark has bad technique here. He gets caught in no man's land. He should be pressed because it's the backside 3-by-1, but I think he right before a snap, for some reason, he backs off, and he ends up at the snap of the ball being like 4 yards off, and it's hard to play man here. He kind of messed himself up by not staying pressed, but they saw him press, so they just checked to the fade, and they beat us on that one, which is, hey, that's gonna happen. I think he would help himself out if he stayed pressed. He would have helped himself out a lot, but for some reason he like I said, just gets caught in no man's land, and now Corey eats up his cushion, and instead of flipping like at 14 yards, like right there flipping, he flips at like 7 or 8, and it's just a very awkward situation for him down there. And then Cookus puts the ball where it needs to be. We get a hit on the quarterback, but we mess up the pattern down here to the bottom, we'll see, and they score a touchdown. Granted, this was the only points they scored all day, but they still scored, which was unfortunate. So this was Rover saw 1. We talked about this when we installed. He should go here, and he should go here. B gap, loop to B, and then he's got a 2-way go on the center. But we don't get the loop over here. But we do on this side, and see how it works out very well for us. The tackle blocks down because, I mean, they're just going to 5-man, so he's here, there, and there. And the back is really for Ruben blitzing. So we get an unblocked player in Tez, and if we ran the pattern right on this side, we'd have another unblocked guy right there. All right, so We called a lot of the same call on that first drive. So now we're going to mix it up a little bit because they did a little bit different stuff. They threw it out to one and empty. They put that tight end in the core and did a little bit different there. They ran the ball. They ran that split zone, which they hadn't showed us at all once. So we're going to do a little bit different. It is. And that's the thing with defensive football. Small mistakes can punish you if they find it. Like on offense, if a backside receiver runs the wrong route, but he's like not in the play, then it doesn't matter. But on defense, if a corner does something, his technique isn't right, they'll find it. It's like they just do. It's just kind of like how life works. They'll find you on defense typically if you mess up. Sometimes if you're outside at corner and you mess up and the quarterback's looking to the other side of the field, they won't find it. But more times than not, they're going to find that. They're going to find that mistake that you had. So here, this is a new look too. All right, so they motioned this guy in. Like we said, I'm sure we had talked about it after the series, saying, hey, that tight end motioned in. They ran split zone. Here they run bootleg, and it works out good for us because we're playing Tampa, so we have a cloud corner sitting right there. This was we called the right call for it. Like we said, we wanted to change it up because they had done something that we hadn't seen yet. So we said, okay, they're showing us something different. Let's come back with Tampa, do a little bit something different. They end up running the boot. We have a cloud corner sitting right here playing high to low on this flat 7. And then they probably just run like overs or something like that. But we have a guy right there. Olive does a good job of now, he recognizes boot up here, and he's getting flat to try to not let this quarterback expand and get outside of him. He does a good job there, pressuring the quarterback, and it ends up being counting as a sack for him because he's the closest defender, and it's no gain. So he does a really good job there of bursting out there, getting flat, so that quarterback can't just beat him to the corner. But this was a good call. Like, it worked out for us to run Tampa here. Sometimes you just kind of got to get lucky, whatever, have a feel, change it up. Sometimes things just work. All right, we came back with zone the set. Like we said in the notes, this was a big screen team, and the other thing is offenses love to run screens on 2nd and 10 or more. That's just it's just for offensive football, it's a big screen down is 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12, because I don't know. I don't know why often like coordinators think like that. Maybe because they're like, we can gain 6 yards and get to 3rd and manageable, or they think you're going to pressure so they can run the screen. I don't know, but I just know that offensive coordinators run screens on 2nd and 10 plus at a higher rate than they do any other time. And we knew it was a screen team, so we were prepared for the screens. You can see right here, we're playing zone the set. It's 2x2, so we're running basically trap 2. He's trapping 2 to the flat. He's trapping 2 to the flat. And he's playing vertical hook on 2. He's playing vertical hook on 2. See, JJ said it's funny hearing you say the OC ran screen 2nd and long twice today, and we shut it down because we knew how he likes to call plays. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why offensive coordinators do that, but they just do a lot of times. And I don't know. I don't know why. But here we're playing what we call wild. So it works out here because we have a lot of guys having vision. It's a form of 2 deep. And now the corner can see it. He defeats the block. Keith isn't going to get blocked by a receiver. He defeats the block. he doesn't make the tackle, but he makes the guy cut up back into the teeth of the defense, and then Olive makes the tackle. Olive, who's our 3 technique right here, ends up making the tackle like right over here. That's the other thing, having smart D linemen that can recognize screen and turn and run, have an effort to the football. That's really good. So now we get to third and medium, which we're gonna alert quick throws, and we're gonna alert the back to the flat when we get 3rd and 3 to 6, which I think this is about to be. I think it's gonna be like 3rd and 4, something like that. All right, 3rd and 6. So we're gonna alert quick throws in the back to the flat, and routes at the sticks. 3x1 gun far, back is away, heavy pass. Obviously, it's 3rd down. They're probably gonna throw the ball anyway. We jump off sides. They don't call it. We get back. We're playing zone the set, so we're playing cover 3, hook curl, curl flat off the back, post safety. Responsible for the vertical of 3. How we run it. So here we do a good job. I'm pretty sure here I was telling him show too high, and I was saying to Tarp hold it, and then telling him when to get down, which was a nice thing about having the headset. So he can hold that. It looks like too high. Quarterback looks away to get to the snap. Now Tarp's coming down for cover 3. All right, that's why I really like holding that too high shell, making it look like quarters, cover 6, Tampa. They don't know what it's gonna be. But I would rather show a too high shell than a single high shell, because I think it's easier for a safety to walk down to play curl flat or walk down to play hook curl than it is for him to be down and then get depth. I just think it's easier for him to walk down because he'll still be able to see the whole picture. So I base everything out of a single or a too high shell. All right, so here they're running mesh. Ruben does a good job up top of taking the back to the flat. Like we said, that's an alert, back to the flat. So Ruben takes that one. What we need is, how it should work is with 2 going under right here, Bryce is now going to take this vertical, and Tarp should just sit right here for this guy coming back. So he should be sitting right here for that one coming back. That's where the breakdown comes here. Tarp just needs to sit. He doesn't need to get depth. Bryce has that one. Mark makes a really good open field tackle right there. Playing corner, that's not an easy play. But he gets him on the ground. All right, they got a 1st down. That's unfortunate, but we get a chance to play another snap. All right, so we run some sort of loop game. Olive probably needs to go more inside. That's a really good tackle right there. I mean, that's not an easy tackle. That's a lot of space right there. I mean, that's like 20-something yards from the hash to the sideline, and there's nobody else but him one-on-one. That's not an easy play to make. Like, I don't care who you are, and I don't care who this is, but this was an all-pro player. I mean, so was Mark to not sell him short, but that's not an easy tackle to make. All right, now we're playing Tampa. Change the call up a little bit. They're in trio. It's base downs, gun far, heavy alert pass. All right, look, they showed us something different. Gun far trio before was heavy pass. It was 86% pass on base downs. They showed us something different. Our guys did a really good job of reacting to it. Ruben sees it right away, playing downhill to allow. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to show you a second. So Ruben playing downhill so fast, even though Boogie gets captured, it makes this guard have to get off of Boogie because he's playing really far downhill, really fast. So Boogie can now make the play in the B gap. Because he can't stay on this double team because of how fast Ruben's playing. If he stays on this double team longer, Ruben's going to make this play in the A gap. So he's got to get off of that double team to try to have the tackle get there, and the tackle can't get there because Ruben's playing downhill well. And the other thing that's happening is Malcolm setting a good edge right here to where this guy can't keep running this way. He feels that he has to cut up because he sees Malcolm over here and Olive right here. So he feels that he has to cut up, and it allows Boogie to make this play. But that's it. That's a good picture. I think they only had, I think this game was a game that they had 13 rushing yards on 13 rushing attempts, I think. So one yard per carry. All right, same thing, zone the set. So we're playing cover 3 in this situation. He's going to run with the vertical there. He's going to run with the vertical there. If he goes vertical, then he would run with that vertical. We get a really good jam down here. Up at the top, we're getting 2 verticals basically, so it looks like man, right? It looks like he's playing man, he's playing man, he's playing man, he's playing man, which basically they are playing man. And this is the same thing that they did earlier, and they completed the underneath to this guy. Here we get a little bit better look at it. See, they're a little bit more locked into it now and driving that. He tries to throw the vertical, the receiver stops running. Even if he didn't stop running, we have that covered. And he probably helped himself out because Eli stops running a little bit. If the receiver keeps running, Eli keeps running. Eli's on top of it, so he would have probably got the pick there. He does later on that same concept, but there he probably would have got one. But here, like we said, this is like in NCAA, which I've been playing a few games, 3 match. This is basically what we're playing here. Is 3 match in the video game. Where those curl flat players, if they're getting verticals in the game, they call them, I think, seam flat players. If they're getting verticals, they're going to turn and run with that. Which is basically what we're getting. Tarp needs to get more depth. The middle field safety. All right, 10 personnel. They're struggling to get lined up. They end up getting to empty, which I don't really care about. Whatever, it's empty. It's 3rd and long. So we're thinking, what we said is 3rd and 10 plus, empty formations, and we're also thinking vertical stretch with somebody sitting down at the sticks was our notes. So we're thinking vertical routes. Here we're playing double buzz, which for us was like a form of cover 3. Tez needs to get his ass deeper because he's technically our middle field safety. But how we're playing this coverage, if I remember correctly, so these 2 guys, Ruben and Bryce, are buzzing out to the flat. They're playing deep third. He's technically our deep third safety, and these guys are walking down to play hook curl. It was just a different way to get to cover 3. And it was like true zone cover 3, where he's now playing 2-to-1 read, like China true cover 3. We gave him a different look. He doesn't necessarily know where to throw the ball, and our pressure gets home. We have 2 guys up here, we'll see from the tight, winning their one-on-ones. And really Will does too. All of our guys that are one-on-one down there win. And we have everyone upfield covered, right? Ruben pushes through right here to push through the flat. Bryce does a good job rerouting, pushing through. We have he needs to be deeper, and I'm sure we said that after this. And then our hook curl players are very deep because it's 3rd and 12. They're like 15 yards. But these guys are playing right here. He's 2-to-1. So we have everybody covered, as you can see right here. I mean, technically, is this guy open? Yeah, kind of. But at the same time, I don't think he's in any position to throw the ball right now. So we'll see from the tight. We're just going shade, which is a 3 down front. I don't remember how we set the front in this game. We might just set it to the field. Set it. I don't know. It didn't. I don't really care in empty unless we have a tell. But we set it left for whatever reason here. And so, like we said, they have 5, we have 4. Someone's gonna get double teamed. Here they double Savion, so I'm not expecting Savion to beat the double team, but I'm expecting Vaughn, TB, or Will. I'm expecting one of those guys to win their one-on-one. And in this situation, all three of them win. TB just pushes that guard right back into the quarterback's lap, so he has to get off his spot. And Vaughn on the left is doing a great job of dipping and ripping and running the hoop, getting back to the quarterback. I think we might have got away with a little face mask there, maybe. I don't know. Nah, he got him by the collar, and then Will wins too. Man, this dude, Cookus, he is tough because he took a lot of hits. He took a lot of hits. He is hurting. He's a tough dude. He's a good quarterback. I like him. All right. This is now the next series, because obviously that was 3rd and long, so we got a sack there. So this is what, the 3rd series of the game now, I want to say. 3-by-1, same thing. Gun far, run the ball. This is now a new tendency for them. They weren't showing us this. So now on my sheet, where it says gun far, alert run, I'm just gonna cross that out because it's not true anymore. In this game, either they self-scouted or whatever reason, it's not true anymore. So I don't want to tell the guys, hey, gun far, alert pass, when they've run the ball in gun far twice now. Here they run zone read. We get a good look at it. Our inside backers get a good key. Tez gets a really good key on it. Plays downhill, plays to his gap. Ends up shedding. TB does a good job surfing. And the other thing is, too, this is a different front for them. So, like, they're probably treating it like he's the 3 technique and he's the 1 technique. So they're going to try to double there to there and double here to there, really. But it's a different kind of weird look for them. And we hadn't shown it yet, so I don't know if they knew how to block it initially. All right, new quarter, 2nd and 6. Gunfar trio. All right, this new motion coming in has been a run, a split zone, and a boot. Here they try a split zone. Technically, it's legal because he was in the box when the ball was snapped, but if you come from outside into the box, you're not allowed to cut. But they said since he started the ball, like the snap, he was in the box, he's allowed to cut. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't like it. But here we're playing, this is what Zay said earlier, we were locking the call on the motion. So now what we're doing is, initially, we're playing cover 3 where he's a hook curl, he's playing off a 3. On this motion, right when he started, now what we said is Tarp's going to go play curl flat and he's going to go play the post. And so, like, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but, like, you always hear about halftime adjustments and stuff like that. If you're waiting till halftime to make your adjustments, you're going to be far too late. Like, we saw this on the first drive of the game, this motion, and we've already fixed it. It's the top of the 2nd quarter. All right, now we're going to have him go down there and him go there. If we waited till halftime to do that, then we wouldn't have been able to make this play because Tarp makes this tackle right here. If we don't do that, then this guy's going to be, if Ruben doesn't make this tackle, which he probably does, then he's going to be open until the middle field safety makes that tackle. So, like, you got to make your adjustments on the fly. This is a really good play from Tarp. Even with the receiver trying to crack block, that's a really good play. I think that was a tackle for loss. Nope, they gave me a yard. All right, so now it's 3rd and 5, same thing. Big mesh team, routes at the sticks, back to the flat. I think this guy goes to the flat right here because I said something to Keith. I said, don't lose the back. I don't think they threw it to him, but he goes to the flat. And we're playing Tampa here, so we have 2 cloud corners. All right, they do throw it to him. And that's what I said to Keith. I was like, I get that. Like, I get the reroute, but we also know that on 3rd and 5 up here, 3rd and 5 is a big back to the flat, so don't lose that back. I would like him to not have to flip his hips back around. I would like him to just be able to kind of stick that right foot in the ground and flip back that way over his left hip, I guess, and stay with square to the back. But we know that this is a big back to the flat team in this situation. Here, Vaughn gets his hands up and knocks the ball down, which is good, because that probably, if that ball is on target, like on his upfield shoulder, he's gonna catch that ball and just turn up the field and be a first down. I need Tez to make sure that he's getting enough depth for this guy. And really now, he's got to have depth and vision when this guy sits down, because I think we had it where he was going to drive that and he was going to get to this one. I can't remember exactly how we did it, but I know we practiced it in that call. All right, that's a good rush by Vaughn. Vaughn realizes he sees quick game, gets his hand up, matches the quarterback's hand, if you will, with his left hand, puts his hand up and gets a PBU on 3rd down. That's a big play. All right, so now we come back to the next series. We kicked a field goal, so we've kicked 3 field goals on our drives. Obviously, they scored on that first drive, so it's 9-7. And then this is the 4th drive of the game. Obviously, they had that the first drive where they scored, and then they haven't really done much after that. They haven't been able to do much. All right, we're getting trio, gun near trio, playing zone the set. Right, we didn't have a whole bunch of call variation because we didn't need a whole bunch of call variation. Yeah, that first drive of the game, they went down and scored, but now that we've settled in, we've kind of figured out what they're trying to do. We've talked to our guys and we're like, okay, like we're gonna call zone the set. This is kind of what they're doing. They're trying to run the ball a little bit more. They're not having success, so they might go back to the pass game. They might give us a few new trick plays and a few new things that we haven't seen. But they've also showed in empty they've targeted 3 strong and 2 weak a little bit. They did the 1 week, but now we're on play 16 and we're in the 2nd quarter, so we're ready to go. Here they try to run the ball again. Tez gets a really good key on that. Tarp gets a good key up at the top, and they gain 2 yards. So like we said, they're trying to run the ball, but they're not gaining many yards. We're getting good keys from our linebackers, and basically what we're saying is 4-2-5 is really 4-3. You have 4 down linemen, and you have 3 linebackers. I know Tarp's not a linebacker, but like the fits are the same. Here they're trying to run a draw. Olive does a really good job of recognizing that here. You can see him stop, retrace. Olive is a really smart football player. All right, we got 2nd and 8, so we called Tampa just because I figured they were going to throw the ball, wanted to give them a little bit different look. And if we were playing zone the set, we'd be playing cover 3. So I think that's why I said right here, I'm saying to Eli, I'm saying, oh no, here we are playing. This is zone the set. My bad. The call's wrong. The call is not Tampa. It's cover 3. They tried to run the ball again. Pistol was an alert run for us, remember? They haven't showed up in pistol yet this drive, but it is pistol, and it is 0-0. This is our running back. I think this is Roland, 12. So like I said, he can do a little bit of everything. Was he in DC? I think he was in DC last year. But he's a good player. But we allowed our guys, we said, hey, it's pistol, alert the run. Even though it's 0-0, like we said, personnel doesn't really matter to these guys. It's more formation based. And pistol was a big run tendency for them. So here they try to run pistol stretch. Boogie does a good job of getting vertical and making him cut back, and Ruben is unblocked. And so is Alive. So we make a TFL there. This is a really good play from Nas right here as well, setting the edge. So he can't continue to string this out. He has to make a decision. Am I going to cut up or am I going to bow out? He sees Nas out there. He sees Boogie winning right here. So he's like, well, I have to cut back because I'm not going to be able to get into that gap right there because he's right here. And really, by rule, he needs to get over there. But he's also not a robot, and he sees him cut back, so he's going to cut back and make the tackle. All right, 3rd and 10. We're thinking verticals with someone sitting down the sticks, or triple seam with X shallow. Here they end up running dagger. I think I was calling this triple seam because it was very triple seam-ish, but I think it's vertical, and he runs that, and he runs this. I think that's the concept here. But that was what we had talked about. We had talked about 3x1 verticals with someone coming underneath, and it was often X 1 week. We're calling Tampa here. We had repped this route a lot of times in practice, but that's what they're running, right? They run 1 and 3 are vertical. He's coming underneath on the dagger, and he's coming underneath for the check down. This is the one we saw earlier when Tarp didn't expand. Here we're calling Tampa, so Bryce is sitting right there for it. And what we talked about is in Tampa, Ruben needs to push for this one. And like, that was just a game plan thing. Because we said he needs to stay here, but eventually he's going to take that one, and he needs to go push to the dig of 2. End up trying to scramble. I think it ends up being a no gain. Is this guy open? Yes, he is, but the rush is getting him off the spot to where he has to scramble. And by rule, Ruben needs to push this way. Or by game plan, he needs to push that way. But once again, you're not going to be able to defend every single route. Sometimes they're going to catch the ball, and sometimes the rush is going to get home. Rush and coverage working together. We had a game plan for it. We needed Ruben to get there, but sometimes you just can't get there. So this was 3rd and 10, so we get off the field. I think that's a hold. All right, so now sudden change. I don't know what happened here. I don't know, because we scored, we kicked the field goal, so I don't know if it was like a kick return all the way down here. I'm not sure what happened. It must have been a kick return. But this is, I don't know. They got the ball in the plus 22, so whatever. Pistol, alert run. Stretch. Nothing. Linebackers playing downhill because we talked about pistol, alert run. It looks like Ruben's blitzing. And he's probably just doing that because we're saying alert run. So he's like, all right, alert run. All right, let me go make my play. And the other thing is, too, is like, we had built it between me and the coaching staff and the players is they trusted us. Like, they trusted us. They trusted us as in the coaching staff that we were going to put them in good situations to do their job, and like we're not gonna lie to them, and like I might be wrong sometimes, but like I'm not gonna lie to them and try to put them in a bad situation. Like I want to win too, so they trusted us, which was good. I think that's what Bryce is doing right here. I'm saying something, so he's trying to hear. I'm probably saying pistol alert run. Same thing here. They're trying to go here to climb, but he can't. This guy can't get to Ruben fast enough because he's playing so far downhill that Ruben just ends up being unblocked. We're also wrong here. He should technically be in this gap, but it worked out for us. We're playing 2-3s right there. Playing zone the set again, so we're playing a form of 2 high. He's trapping that guy. He's trapping this guy. And they're playing vertical hook on their players. Just 5 under, 2 deep-ish. And how we did it is, Zay, if you're still in here, I think what we ended up doing is with these 3 inside guys, I think the guy away from the back locked his under, and then these 2 guys went in and out on these 2. That's how we're doing it. Yeah, so that's what we ended up doing. Is I can't remember why. I think it was because how they ran this concept. He always went under. He ran here and the back went here, or he ran there or something like that. But I know we did. We had him lock and these 2 guys passed the back and this guy off. Yeah, that's what we did. Cool. Appreciate that. How we wanted this to work out is him to stay on this and him to here, but we didn't have a whole bunch of reps at it, so we fixed this after this one. Key should stay on that and Tarp should trigger earlier. But same thing. They're gonna make plays. We busted that one. We gave that one to them, but it is what it is. We wanted to account for the back. That's why we banjo those 2. Yeah, because he was going to get out sometimes. And then if he went here and slipped, then Tez was responsible for it. But we wanted you inside here because he couldn't see the back and see that one, I think is what we wanted to do. But here you can see Ruben and Tez communicating on this guy and this guy. All right, we call it Tampa Red Zone, and how we run Red Zone is it's basically 7 across. He's outside. He's in between 1 and 2. He's in between 2 and 3. He's inside of 3. He's really inside of 2, and he's in between 1 and 2, and he's outside of 1. Is really how it works out. On the motion, they just bump. Same thing. We're getting this little Y in motion. It's been split zone. It's been boot. So we're ready for the split zone. They get a few yards, but we'll see from tight. That should be hands to the face on Ruben. Who's this making the play? Savion? No, that's Will. Will does a good job of making that play. They get, I don't know, 2 yards on 1st and 7. We'll take it. 2nd and 5. We call Tampa Red Zone again. Same thing. He's outside. He's really right here. He's right here. He's pushing that way. He's right here. He's here. And the corner's out here. So basically we're bracketing everything. He's the middle runner. So these guys are kind of like in the same area, but he has to be deeper and he's kind of underneath. He's outside of 2. He's outside of 1. They end up running a draw, which is just typical offense. When they get empty down in the red zone, they run a lot of QB draws just because they spread the defense out. Savion does a good job of slowing him down, kind of playing multiple gaps, making him cut, and then Tez makes a tackle and Ruben gets in on the tackle. But that's pretty good from Savion. It kind of just works out. He goes to their left A gap, and then he gets kind of knocked off into the right one. Makes the quarterback have to stop and then get tackled. All right, so now it's 3rd and 5. We get shade. Tampa red zone, same call. 7 across. Just little whip routes. We get a nice PBU from Ruben there. Tez needs to push more that way. He needs to push this way faster. But ends up getting a PBU. I don't think they kicked a field goal here. Did they have 10 points? We'll see in a second here. That's a good chip block though. Shoot. He got a leeway on that one. That don't feel good. Got a double PBU. Oh, I guess they did kick a field goal. All right, I thought they only scored 7 points. But they kicked a field goal there on sudden change. So they got the ball at the 29 and ended up kicking a field goal. Like, we'll take that as a win. So we're up 2 points going into half. They take the knee. All right, so now we did our halftime, whatever. Talked about this, that, the other thing. Probably talked about Gunfar is, just so they hear it again. We've already talked about it on the sideline, but we can draw it up and we can hear it. Gunfar is not all pass. Pistol is still more run. And then they did that short motion with the bootleg and short motion with the split zone. So we're talking on that short motion, everyone good on how we're going to cover it. And then they're probably going to have like a shot play off of that too, is the next thing that they're going to do. All right, playing our 5 under 2 deep. And here's what we're saying on this side. If he goes vertical, he's going to turn and run with it. So now Tez needs to take this under. He ends up taking this guy. He's playing deep to shallow on that one, but he needs to end up taking the back. Bryce needs to stay lower on this guy. He needs to be like in a trail position. That's why he gets thrown around right there and they make that catch. That was probably their best play of the day, other than the touchdown, like the longest play. Bryce needs to just kind of sit down right here. He's too high, because if this guy continues vertical, he's got help right here. He just needs to sit and be a little bit more patient so he doesn't get thrown by right there. All right, they come back and try to run the ball again. We get good keys. Ruben makes a really nice tackle. They're trying to double here to get up to there. I think that's what they want to do. Maybe here to go to there and him straight there. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought this was this is a draw. So he's kick setting. He's here. They're gonna go here to there, some form or fashion. Ruben does a good job there, recognizing. Tez does a good job recognizing. Malcolm is spinning into the B gap, but he still makes the play, or we still make the play. 2nd and 9. We're playing zone the set, playing cover 3. They feel single high, so they just try to take the shot on Keith. A little bit deep. Keith, his technique could be better. Same thing. He gets caught in no man's land here. He's at like 4.5, 5 yards. We want to be pressed or off at 7 and be square. We don't want to be standing like that. So he kind of gets caught in no man's land and can't get anything. He's in the area where he can't press. He can't get hands on, but he also can't pedal. So he just needs to clean that up a little bit. Same thing, double buzz. So this was here, because we're getting 3rd and long. Buzz to the flat. He needs to get his depth. I hope we fixed it. He's playing hook curl. We're getting empty, so we're thinking here or here, one of these two guys. They're just running really too strong underneath here. Tez does a little bit better job of getting more depth, but you can see it's like cover 3. Eli doesn't need to chase that. He can just chill right here. And then he just throws it away, basically. All right, next series, second series, the second half. We come out in Tampa. They're in 2x2. Back to the flat. They're gonna catch the ball, right? We're playing Tampa at zone. They're gonna catch the ball right here. That's fine. Make the tackle and we'll go, and we will go. All right, here's a tight formation. I can't remember what our numbers were in this formation, but we talked about them earlier. We're playing Tampa again. We have everything pretty covered up. This is one where Leve wins. All right, Leve wins right here, the 3 technique. He wins real quick. Matches the hand, gets a sack fumble, and Boogie picks it up. This is really nice. He's trying to throw this ball right here. Tez needs to stay more in the middle of the field. But that's rush and coverage working together. Sack fumble. Boogie trying to scoop and score. We get the scoop. That's a nice play right there. All right. So then we scored a touchdown there, 15-6. We missed the extra point. Calling Tampa again because Tampa's working for us. Trying to run the ball again. Doesn't work for them. This is a good job from Will, playing the zone read. And now he sees the quarterback doesn't have the ball, crashes down, makes a tackle on the back. Tampa one more time, because why change it up? This is a good job of how we're looking at Tampa. Like we said, we need Ruben to get here. Push to that one. Zay does a good job here reacting. He's 15 yards down the field. They throw the under. Big time tackle right there on 2nd and 7 for a gain of 2. All right, 3rd and 5, thinking mesh, thinking quick throws, empty, thinking this guy or this guy. They called a false start. So now we're getting 3rd and 10, 2x2. They're running mesh. That's a hole of Tampa. All right, that's gonna get caught. They're gonna, that's on the call. Make the tackle, play the next snap. I'm not even mad. All right, this is new. Here's their shot, right? This is the short motion. They see that we're now rock and rolling to that. They have a big over. They know that we're in cover 3, so they're going to send this guy over. He pushes off on Mark, but we end up making the tackle. But that's a big play. That's a scheme play, and the only thing I can say to Mark is when he pushes off on you, grab his arm so that he can't push you. We'll get through this drive. They might kick a field goal here. I don't know the final score of this game was. Back to the flat, running mesh again. We're running Tampa. We have everything pretty covered up. QB has to scramble, throws it away. 3x1 gun far. Playing Tampa again. Have everything covered up. QB's got to scramble. Throws it away. All right, we'll get to the end of this series and then we're going to stop. Empty. Inside 2. Here, quarterback gets a bad snap, so we luck out on this one. I think they kicked the field goal there. Yeah, they kicked the field goal. The final score must have been 21-13. Yeah, so we'll stop there. We can get the rest of this at another time. But that is a lot of the talking about game planning, finding tendencies in the offense, communicating it with your players, and then putting together a game plan what to do. We called a lot of Tampa there. We ended up not pressuring them that much, just because they were doing more quick game stuff, and we were getting pressure with 4 when we needed to. So we didn't call that much pressure. I think in the second game we did a little bit more. I appreciate you, JJ. Appreciate you for being here. But yeah, I don't know what we'll do in the next stream. I've been playing a little bit of NCAA, and I don't know, I might stream a little bit of that, but I kind of want to do something where we can talk about real football and like kind of translate it to that game and stuff like that, because I think that can be fun. Because everyone's complaining about defense in that game, and it's not that hard. Like, you just gotta know what you're doing. I don't think it's that hard. I might be wrong, but I don't know. And on offense, I didn't think it was that hard. I just get in trouble when I start doing too much and forcing the ball. If you kind of know what you're looking to do and understand football, which we're talking about here, which I think can be fun to translate to the video game, we can do that. So be on the lookout for some of those streams. If it'll be interesting to people, we'll do that. Maybe get an online dynasty going. When they open up Team Builder, we can make all the UFL teams and have like a 16-team conference or something like that. That'd be fun. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. That was kind of rough talk about game planning, went in a little bit of depth and stuff like that. So we'll figure out what we'll do on the next stream. But I appreciate you guys for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.